Hi, want to talk pelvic alignment with me? Stay tuned. So, this is the third video in my Finding Your Body series. So, if you haven't checked out those first two, you'll want to do that up there. So, what I'm doing is I'm trying to help you connect to your body in a deeper way and maybe wake up some muscles that you weren't sure were there. And maybe it will enhance your other workouts as well as your Pilates practice. My name's Gretchen. I am founder of Balance to the Core. I'm here every week with a new video. So, I would love to have you part of the community. Just hit that subscribe button and the bell next to it so you're notified whenever I have a new video. So today I named this Finding Your Pelvic Alignment, but it's much more than just sort of pelvic alignment. We're really going to talk about all of the muscles that help support your pelvis. And with my core clubbers, I call this power to the pelvis. And we really hone in on the muscles that are attached to the pelvis. And those muscles I call the bath muscles. You have your butt, your abs, your thighs, and your hips. Okay, so you have your butt, your abs, your thighs, front and back, and your hips, inner outer. Hips and thighs are really the same, but it's fun to say bath muscles. So if you sort of get into all those muscles that are attached to the pelvis, that is where your like center power force comes from. So today we're going to talk about the alignment of the pelvis, which means we are going to really hone in on these muscles here and how they support you in a lot of different exercises. When I first did Pilates, I felt like I was just putting my body into different poses. So I learned the choreography and then getting myself into the pose. And I was like, yes, I got it. I learned to connect more with my movement, and it became less about what an exercise looked like and more what it felt like. So it's all about the connections in the body. And I hope this video will help you feel that in your own body. Because when you can connect to these muscles, it's not about how many reps you do. It's about being present, connecting to those muscles, and working on that one rep that you're on in that moment. And as soon as you feel yourself sort of disconnecting, you move on. Okay. This isn't an exercise system where you push through reps, where you try to get more is better. It's not about how much you get done, it's about how much you are doing your current exercise with as much connection as possible. So if you can do one exercise properly, it is so much more beneficial than 10 sloppy ones. So that's different than most exercise mythologies out there. With Pilates, you have a system of exercises. So that's why we never do a lot of reps in each exercise, because you're going through the system, and the system is meant to hit all of the muscles in your body so that you can eventually sort of balance out all of those muscles. So not one muscle is stronger than the other. They all are balanced and working together. So going back to when I first started Pilates and I'm pushing myself into these positions, yes, it looked like I was doing the exercise, but nowhere close did I feel the connections that I was supposed to feel. So that's why it's really important to kind of go into the basics and really feel those muscles. So today we're talking, the pelvic alignment. Let's lie down on our backs. And again, you want to do this with me so that you can feel the muscles that I'm talking about. We have our hip muscles, they don't necessarily move unless we sort of mentally connect with them. So what I want you to do right now is take your right leg and reach it long. We'll bend our left. So look up and get that heel so it's lined up with your spine and it's nice and long. And you want to just sort of anchor your pelvis down. We don't want to let it tilt towards us. We want to really just anchor it so it's nice and flat, pubic bone, hip bones. And then as you reach your right leg, can you dig your heel into the ground? Now try to do that without locking your knee. So remember that first video I talked about the engagement, not the tension. So if we're going really straight with dear life, we sort of lock out and tense. But you're straight, your heel's connected. Just let go of that sort of tension and just let yourself be engaged. And then you have your hamstring and seat. So your hamstring and seat are connected right here. So can you engage that and press down from there? And maybe those muscles don't work today. That's fine. Takes time. These muscles are sleepy. We need to wake them up. Once they're woken up, you're going to find yourself, you have much more strength and energy to do things. So if I'm pushing my heel down here and my seat and hamstrings connected, how different does that feel from just reaching along and trying to straighten, right? It's not the same muscles. But when you look in the camera, it looks the same, right? So that's what I mean about pushing yourself into poses versus connecting to it. So now let's straighten both legs. And I want you to click your heels together and press your heels down. We can flex our feet here. Okay, so now when you push your heels together and down, I want you to do it from your hips. So seats engaged, hamstrings, everything's pulling in. So we got power to the pelvis here. We got your butt, your abs, your hips, your thighs. Ooh, yeah. All right, so now stretch your arms back behind you like you're stretching in bed. Nice deep stretch. Now I want you to try to roll up, and we're going to try to kind of reach towards our toes. So let's just do it and not think about it. Okay, go back down. Do it again. Okay, how'd it feel? All right, like you're working. Yeah, got your abs working. Now let's do it with that pelvic kind of engagement. So roll back, stretch long, squeeze your heels, anchor those heels. Now what you're going to do is you're going to start to come up. So take it slow with me. You're going to start to come up. And as you come up, you're going to try not to tilt your pelvis towards you. What we tend to do is we sort of tuck and see how like my legs kind of, and then it's like I reach and then my legs go again. So as I'm going back and forth, I have nowhere near engaged my back muscles. Okay, so I want to really get those pelvic muscles working. So if I then come up and instead of tucking my pelvis, instead of like tucking towards me, instead I pull together. So as I pull together using my outer hips and my seat, pull together. So now my legs aren't sliding forward. My legs stay where they are. It's my body lifting up out of those hips. My hips are engaged. They're squeezing together, right? Seat, hamstring, hips, up and over. Again, my legs aren't sliding forward yet. When my legs slide forward, it means I've lost all that engagement in my pelvic power muscles. So you want to squeeze everything together and you lift your body up and over the thighs, which is why this is not about touching the toes. If you go and touch the toes, you've lost it. Do you feel the difference? It's that idea of strength and stretch together. Joseph Pilates was a genius about this. You're not just reaching forward in your stretch muscles, but you're also not so rigid that it's just like tense, okay? So if you lift up and over and hollow out your chest away from your thighs. Now, as I roll back, again, I want to pull into my hips. My hips pull in, my heels pull in, and I want to push through my arches so that I can keep everything engaged here. And it's not about the legs sliding back with me, right? They don't just slide back. They might slide a little. It's hard. We don't have a rope attached there to help support us. But as you roll back, keep pushing those arches to the opposite wall and see if that can help stabilize your hips as you pull them together and reach it down. Like, how different does that feel versus just coming forward and back, right? Now try to do a full one with me. Lift up and over. Don't let those legs move. Squeeze those hips together. Up and over. Squeeze. Lift yourself out of your hips. Pull it back. Reach through those arches. Keep those arms on your back and bring it down. Woo-wee. Pretty cool, right? Okay, so another one where I see a lot of arm work happening and sort of disregard to what's going on in the pelvis is when we do side bends. Okay, so I'm going to cross one leg over the other. So like side bend, side plank, all that work. If you keep your arm right on your back, I want you to think about those back muscles. So your butt, your hips, your hamstrings, your thighs, okay? And when you lift, you're using the power of your pelvis to lift up. So you're going to push into your feet and you're going to lift that pelvis up, all the while this arm just stays on your back. Okay. So again, push into the feet, lift that pelvis up, squeeze everything together, right? Do you feel how much support you have there? And it's like I could hang out here much longer than just pushing into my arm to come up. And yes, doesn't it? It looks the same, right? Looks the same, but it's a lot of pressure on the wrist and on the shoulder. Same exercise, completely different connection, right? Same idea when you're doing planks too. In Pilates, planks are more of a power to the pelvis exercise versus an arm chest exercise, okay? So you still have your hands underneath your shoulders. Now get into your plank position. So right now I'm like hanging in my wrists and my arms. But once I connect my heels together, squeeze my hips, my heels together from my seat and hamstring and thighs, my abs pull in, and now I can hold myself from that pelvis, from my legs. If I bend my elbows a little bit, push back up, push up from power my pelvis, right? Down, push. Give that a try. Very different from hanging out in those wrists and hamstrings and going down and up. And it's a lot of tension in my shoulders and my wrists, yet it's the same exercise, right? So hopefully this sort of makes sense. So it is pelvic alignment, but I'm not over cueing the positioning of your pelvis. I'm cueing the engagement of those muscles that are attached to your pelvis. Those are super important. And when you put it together with the second video that I created for you, where we did the breathing and the centering. So when you come from that center position, so like when my legs are reaching long, right? If I actually reach from my center, so I pull my abs in, stretch my legs long from my center and have that hip connection, the pelvic connection, what's working so hard is right there. And those are your strong, powerful muscles. Those are like the muscles that are going to help give you the endurance that you need to stay there. And that's what this ultimately does, is it gives you the endurance for your everyday living and movement. Okay. So you can see that in various different exercises, like for instance, lying down and doing bridge work. Bridge work is very easy to hang out into the quads and hips because they're tight on most of us. But if you can instead, so let's make sure we have our both feet fully on the mat. All right, lift your hips up. Now you're resting on the shelf of your shoulders, okay, not on your neck. And I want you to really push your feet into the ground. Push, push, push. Pretend there's like a ball between your knees. And now as you hold right here, all right, let's think about the bath muscles. We have our butt, that's engaged. We have our abs, pull those in and up, yep. We have our thighs, front and back. So if you push your feet deeper, so like kind of lift your toes and then press your big toe, your pinky toe, and then your feet down, all your toes. So you're fully engaged. And now push up and feel as if you're dragging your heels to your seat and your seat to your heels. Now do you feel your hamstrings? Do you feel how different it feels in that position when you are in your abs, butt, hips, and thighs versus just kind of pressing up and you're almost just in your butt and back? And then it becomes really overstretching of the hips and just uncomfortable. But it looks the same. Again, I'm reiterating that because I really, really, really want to hone in on this idea that it's not about how an exercise looks. It's about how it feels in your own body. So you're not competing with other people. You're not even competing with yourself. Like it's not about competition to see what you used to do versus what you do now. It's how you feel today, what you're doing in that moment, and how it feels in your body. And that's great practice for just being present every day, right? So when you take this time on your mat for like 30 minutes and really just fine tune and work on your movements and really being connected with it, it trickles into what you're doing every day. And if you want to work out with me, I always have the workout of the week right on my website, balancetothecore.com. It's the first thing you'll see. And it's, about $7 to work out with me for a week with that workout. So you can practice these skills that we're working here in these tutorials, and you can fine tune and get better. And if you want to keep working on it, join my membership because we work every day with each other. We have a calendar of workouts. Every day is a new workout. And you don't have to do it every day. You just can click on that link on that day. Or if you want to join us live, we have a couple of workouts live on Zoom every week. So if that's rather you want accountability, you want to work with the community, you want to talk with each other, come join the Zoom classes. That's all part of the membership as well. So my goal is to really get you moving in your day, feeling strong, powerful, energetic, and just understanding how your body's working, so that as you age, you can control and stay out of the joints and those overused muscles and start getting your body working more balanced, so those tendencies and like sort of poor postural habits and movement patterns don't happen for you, so you can age gracefully ultimately, right? So hopefully this was helpful for you and you enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you in the next tutorial. Okay. Head over to balancetothecore.com for more info.